Hey everybody! I hope you have had a good weekend. It's Professor Parish, and this video is going to be a little bit longer than usual. We've got some housekeeping things to go over. I want to talk about what we're doing for week 6, and I want to go over the assignment, textbook assignment number 3 that was recently due this very last week. So strap in and get ready for this week's video. Before we start backtracking back to week 5 and textbook 3 and its assignment, I do want to talk about what is coming up this week in week 6. So if I go to our assignments page, and I'm going to switch over to student view. Alright, so week 5 is wrapping up. It's Sunday night as I am doing this video. The assignments are listed here. Also, just as a rule of thumb, I know that this little box is always up here to show you where assignments are. However, I would first check the due assignments here, because as you will notice, your draft was due, and we talked about this in the week 5 video, and the week 5 video talked about tips on that, but also you had your other assignments due. And then the outlines had been due, which most of you have done those anyway. So just make sure that you're checking this box as well. It tells what's due Friday and what is due Sunday, just so you're on top of everything and you see if there's any extra things you need to look at. But week 6. So week 6 we are doing the grammar review number 4. So it is open now. It's due Sunday. The week 6 discussion forum we're going to do, excuse me, blah, I'm yawning. The week 6 discussion forum, you'll notice that posts are due Friday, discussion itself is due, your responses are due Sunday. And then the actual writing assignment. So the reason why we did the writing draft was that so I could see you've at least got a start on your paper, because you have this week to finish your writing prompt. You have this week to finish the writing assignment itself. It is due by Sunday as well. It is worth 50 points, which is actually a nice chunk in this class, so you want to make sure that you get that submitted by Sunday. You will get a chance to revise, so if you're worried about things not being perfect, it's okay. I will look over your papers and you will get a chance to revise them for a better grade, as long as you turn them in by February 17th. If you wait till late and you're like, oh hey, can I turn it in late? No. I'm a very big stickler on turning assignments in when they are due, and this is no exception. So if you don't turn it in on February 17th, you will get a 0 for this assignment, and it will severely impact your grade. So if you're watching this video, you have the heads up. Make sure you submit it by this due date, or I will not give you credit. Okay? Just wanted to make sure that's clear. Now, I have reviewed some of your drafts this weekend. I think everyone is at a good starting point. Everyone has a good foundation. I like the research that I'm seeing. Something we haven't talked about is citing sources. Now, I know this is English 109, so you won't actually delve into MLA fully until English 121, 122. But that doesn't mean we can't practice it in English 109, right? So, in your paper, I have pulled up a blank document. So, citing your sources. This just means that you are giving credit and showing where your research comes from. So, what I would like you to do with this cause and effect writing prompt is at the end of each paragraph, and you can write this down. Oh my gosh. There we go. Please put the website URL in parentheses. Alright. So for example, at the end of my paragraph, and I'll do this little ellipses to show I'm at the end of my paragraph, I could say and I'm just making this up. I would have like in my paragraph, before I put my period, I would put like where I found my information. So like NewYorkTimes.com, and that's it. So what you should do is at the end at least of each paragraph, or I'll put this, if you are citing research or a source, then put your URL of your website. This right here, oh my gosh. This here is the web URL. So if I typed in nytimes.com right here, it's going to take me to the New York Times. That's what I mean by that, is that you're putting in the website. Now, what I mean by just the basics is do not do this. You don't want all this garbly gunk, right? No. You want to do this. Just the basics. And that's it. Okay? So I want us with these writing prompts to kind of practice this. If you don't watch this video and you don't do that, I'm going to note it. But I just want us to practice and get used to it. I won't count off on this very first writing prompt if you're not at least doing some, what we call this is called in-text citation. This is where you're citing sources actually in the paragraph or the writing itself. So if you forget to do it on this first paper, that's fine. I won't count off. I may give you all some extra credit though if you include it. Just gonna throw that out there. I might do that. So, but I do want us to try. And then by our last writing prompt in this class, I will be counting them. So this is just practice, something to build towards. But if you get a chance, please this week include these sources, these citations in your text. And then if you think about it, at the end of your paper, put your sources. I know we've not talked about MLA. We're not really going to touch too much on it in English 109, but I'd at least like to see your sources. If you cited a website or article online, put it down at the end of your paper. I would like to know your research. Now obviously there's some exceptions. The exceptions are if your entire paper is just on experience, okay? So if your paper isn't citing any sources, then obviously you don't have to make up a citation. You won't need them. But if you are citing, like someone in this class is doing a paper on smoking, you've probably found an article or statistics online. I want to see what you've been citing in your paper. So just try to put these in. For now, they are extra credit, and I will note if they are absent. So down the road, meaning later on in this class, they will be worth points. So just keep that in mind. But it's just something for us to practice now. I noticed that in a couple drafts, and you're going to be interacting with citations eventually. That's just something that's going to happen. So this is just going to kind of ease our way into it. All right? But, oh my goodness. That's all I've got in terms of citing sources for your cause and effect paper. Just be sure that when you turn it in, how you turn it into the Dropbox is that you'll do like any other Dropbox we've done. You'll just upload the file and turn it in. I will be honest, I'm pretty quick about grading our textbook and grammar assignments. I take my time grading papers. So just be aware of that you might not get a grade back for a little bit on your paper. And I'm just being thorough. But that should be it. All right. So that's just a little thing I want to touch base on the cause and effect papers, the grammar and textbook review. I want to go back to this textbook review. All right. Let me go back to that. Okay. So some of you did very well on the textbook review. Some of you did perfect. Like I was not concerned at all. Some of you missed the mark and did not do well on this assignment. And I think it's just for not understanding the directions. And when you look at the paper. So it doesn't explicitly say it on here. And so that is kind of a issue. However, if we look at the example, if we look at page 55 in our book, I'm going to go to page 55 here. It will say, if you read the directions up there on page 55, right before the example, it says, in the following groups, one statement is the general point and the other statements are support. So in all of these, 1 through 15, only one of these lines should have a P by them. The rest should have S's. There should be a P in every answer. So some of you put all S's, some put all P's. That's not how the assignment works. Some of you put 2 P's, 2 S's. No, as our book states, it's just one and the rest are support, because you have one general point, one thesis, and then you have the rest of the details that support it. All right? So, for example, going through here, in number 1 here, this has been a wonderful week. I won $100 in state lottery. I scored. My boss just gave me a raise. Obviously, these 3 things are describing wonderful situations, right? So they are supporting details. This first one here is the actual main point, right? So number 2, some people skip breakfast. Some people have poor eating habits. Some people always order supersized portions. Some people eat almost or no fruits or vegetables. I will say that the hint here is that the more specific they get, the more they are supporting details and not the main point. So these 2 are obviously support. So you have some people skip breakfast and some have poor eating habits. This one here, some have poor eating habits, is our point, because these other 3 describe poor eating habits, skipping breakfast, supersized portions, no fruits or vegetables. That is the support to our main point here. All right. So I went through your assignments and in my feedback noted which ones you got wrong. So what I would like for you to do is to go back to this assignment and just look and see, okay, of these, my blood pressure has dropped. This new exercise program must be working. I've lost 10 points in 3 weeks. I don't tire as easily as I used to. Well, losing weight, not tiring, and your blood pressure dropping are all signs that the exercise program must be working. So this is the point, and these are the supporting details. So I'd like you to go back through each one of these and try to identify one main point, and the rest will be supporting details. Obviously, I'm not going to change your grade because it was in our textbook that you were only supposed to use one point and the rest were support. However, I do want you to know why you received the grade that you did. So if you have questions about any of these, like which ones you missed, or if you've gone back through and you're like, I don't get it, please email me. Let me know. I'm obviously not going to write the answers down because this video is on YouTube and eventually other English 109 students are going to look at this, and I don't want them to get a free guide to all the answers as you guys did not have access to that. So just be aware of that. If you've got questions on why you missed an assignment, let me know. For the most part, everyone got this question right. I think only a few missed a couple of them. But like I said, if you've got questions, please let me know. But that is why, if you look at this assignment and you did not get the grade you liked, that is why. Just because you had to pick only one point and the rest were supporting details. And don't get shaken up if this grade is not what you're used to. If you've been getting good grades and this is the first one, you're like, it's not a good grade. We have time to make it up. Don't worry. The writing assignment that's due next week is worth 50 points, and that will dramatically impact everyone's grade. So be focused on that. Don't dwell on this grade, but just know that that's why I graded it the way that I did. And be sure on our future, we have 2 more textbook assignments. We have 4 and 5. Be sure to check out the text above the example because that will also give hints at the directions and what you're supposed to do. So, and as always, you can email me. If something doesn't feel right, if you're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, just email me. And I'll say, yeah, you're doing great. That's what you should do. Or if you're not, I'll be like, hey, you need to change this or this. Right? But just let me know if you have questions about that. As far as the grammar assignment goes, everybody did fabulous on the grammar assignment. I was very impressed. Y'all did good. Kudos for that. I think the textbook assignment, it was just a matter of the directions being a little confusing. But so next week we have Grammar 4, the discussion forum, and your actual writing assignment being due. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. So far everybody's been doing good. Just make sure you turn in all of your assignments and your grade should reflect that. As always, email me, call me, get in touch, and I'll help you if you need it. But have a great week. Happy Valentine's Day early, and I will talk to you all again soon.